right. So last time, having made our way finally from Vallaki, after a bit of a internal conflict, some near catastrophic character unconsciousness, you partnered up with Casimir, the Dusk Elf, your Dusk Elf's companion from Vallaki, and you made your way south towards the Amber Temple. Taking the quicker route of the river, you pass through a odd, desolate bones of this town, right, where these creepy scarecrows watched as you made your way quietly through the swampy madness, saying, nope, you continued on your way, all the way down, finally reaching Solenka Pass, and there's this incredibly intimidating, seemingly impassable stone bridge lay before you. A figure, an emanation of Strahd himself, was there waiting for you, smiling and laughing as you attempted to cross, before suddenly the sky was blotted out by the giant, monstrous shape of this winged creature swooping down on you. So as we enter in, the wind howls and whips across the bridge, bits of snow flurry down the mountainside as that cold air cuts and bites across your face. I need everyone to roll initiative.
Spicy entry.
And who, by the way, would like control of Casimir?
Oh,
Tenzveta?
I'll take him.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
I'll
That
take
level of responsibility.
I'll let him die. It's fine.
Holy crap, that was a terrible initiative roll. All right, Durango, looks like you are the face of the party and also the face on this attack, so good luck.
Hopefully I still have a face by the end of it.
There you go. You should be able to control him there.
Hot. Let's see what he has.
Make sure you roll his initiative for me.
Does he also already have mage armor up or no?
I would say yes.
Okay, I'll go ahead and get that out of the way then.
Yeah.
Done.
All right, Durango. So as the sky is filled with this, like this screeching roar, as this giant bird swoops down towards this crumbling stone bridge, what are you doing?
So Durango is going to heroically backpedal. Oh, game's paused. I can't heroically backpedal.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my bad.
And there's there's some fortification here on the sides of the bridge.
Correct.
All right, so Durango is going to take cover behind that. He's gonna poke out, take a shot off with his Eldritch Blast.
Okay, what is the range on Eldritch Blast?
120 feet.
All right. Yep. Okay.
Ooh,
That's
bad roll.
That was a damage roll. No, that's just a bad roll. 13.
A 13? Yeah, 13 misses, unfortunately.
I was very confused. I was like, damn it,
Yeah.
bro, you rolled a
Second
d20.
blast. Oh, I thought the math didn't line up there for a sec, but that was just me. 18 to hit.
Yeah, 18 hits.
For 13 damage.
13 points.
And yes, with great courage, Durango's going to pop back behind that fortification. It's my turn.
Sorry, trying to get in practice here. Yeah. So Durango, as you kind of pop out that first shot, you fire it from the loot. The giant bird very deftly, quickly, just sort of almost like barrel rolls and tucks its wings in. The second one, you get a better aim on it and slams into it. Although the creature doesn't even seem to slow down, it just continues its descent, swooping towards the party. Casimir.
How high up is this rock?
Right now he's about 60 feet in the air.
Fuck. Okay. I think based off of his spell list, feel like he would probably set up some semblance of defense first and drop an ice storm right here in the middle of the bridge before it gets to us. So that way it has to fly down through it to get to us. And then run back and away. Similar to Durango. Zoop and zoop. And then that'll be his turn.
Did I storm a sphere?
It is a ice storm is a 20-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder centered on a point within range.
Oh.
It turns the area that the storm is like within the storm into difficult terrain, and anything going into it. Oh wait, no, that's an instantaneous thing. What the hell am I talking about? No, he's gonna drop that right on top of the rock because it has a 300-foot range. Because it's instantaneous. It's not a sustained thing. Just move that, put it right there, so that way he has to fly through it as well. I need a dexterity saving throw, DC 14 from it.
Nice.
So it takes 2d8 bludgeoning for 10 bludgeoning and 21 points of cold, so 31 points of damage.
Holy shit.
As he just kind of, says a few magic words and there's ice in the wind. I don't know Casimir's style.
You're muted, sir.
I know. As he begins to chant and wave his hands, you watch the air around the rock begin to darken and the clouds sort of thicken as this icy hail begins to just whirl around in place high up in the air. The rock still just screaming through it. Is the whole visage of him almost clouded for a moment. You could see the form sort of just a shadow in this icy storm occurring up in the air. Colm, with that is the rock's turn. So the rock is going to you suddenly from that ice and snow, he just bursts out. Ice and bits of snow and are scattered across the bridge. They skirt at your feet as he just comes barreling down towards you, Cole.
Bring it.
Ooh.
First strike's a 19.
Yeah.
Take 35 points of piercing damage.
Hey, bring that ice storm back. Can you bring that ice storm back?
Oh, and then the Talon's the natural 1 for 14.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
32 to hit.
Cole, as it bursts through the ice, the beak just grabs and tears into you. You attempt to deflect it with your shield quickly. However, it's just not enough, and the beak just rips through some of that armor and that chainmail and cloth underneath you, and you can feel it scrape against your skin as it deflects and pulls itself back in the air. You will get an attack of opportunity here, as it flies back up about, we'll just say, another 80 feet in the air.
Whoa. Movement speed.
Yeah, as it's going by, damn, it just kind of shook by just being hit with this tank of a bird. And just without even thinking, just lunges his spear like at like a passing wing. Natural 20.
Nice.
Awesome. Go ahead and roll damage.
That's what we needed right now.
Paladin. Crit.
Okay, so that's 15 points of damage. Can I throw a smite on that as on top of this too with the react?
It's every single time you hit.
Okay. Divine smite on this bitch.
Smiter.
I only have first level spell slots right now, so it's gonna have to be that. But
Still 48.
it's 2d8 for.
It's a crit.
Oh shit! Yeah. How do I? There we go. Yeah, I guess I just roll 48.
Lane Paladin, keep that smite button close, man.
Yeah. For another 20 points of damage.
Good God.
Ouch. So almost reactionary, right? Yeah, Cole, you lash out with that spear, that pain shooting up your side. You lunge instinctually. The spear catches the rock in the wing. You can see it sort of sputter a bit as it just drags along. Blood and feathers just kind of spew in all directions. The rock doesn't seem ultimately incredibly phased. It just continues to fly away, but you can see the blood now dripping and splattering across the stone bridge as it just hovers there in the air, sort of analyzing the group.
Yeah, that's right. You rethink what you're trying to do. You go to the corner and think about what you've done.
With that, Cole, you're up.
All right. I don't know if this is even gonna matter, but sort of stomp down on the bridge and take the Spartan pose. And as I slam my spear against the shield, I'm using the bonus action to cast Shield of Faith. Okay. And then I look down at just like the whole side of me sort of like caved in, and I know there's a bone broken there, and I'm gonna heal myself up a little bit. With lay on hands.
Yeah, you deserve it.
That brings me up to 39. Oh, and I'm just gonna make sure I position myself back into the archway, so it's harder for them to get at me, yeah.
All right, so as you sort of back away and shield wall with the entryway to that odd stone arch above you, you kind of use the shadows to just barely keep the feet of the rock in sight as you position yourself a little more defensively. You're saying here?
Yeah, just so I can't really, it's just harder access.
Sure. Tens.
Tins is just going to stay still. He's going to pull out his hand crossbow. Steady aim is a bonus action, and shoot. So that way he doesn't have disadvantage. Probably not going to do a whole lot, but it's better than nothing. Got a natural 1, so he's just going to snap his string and sit back down.
Yeah, unfortunately, you pull the bolt flies, right, and it's the winds, like the heavy winds, just whip through the valley, and it just takes it somewhere off to the out of sight.
He just starts cursing.
Ash.
Seriously, who didn't know about the giant chicken? Why didn't we know about the giant chicken? And he's gonna go ahead and do Ash things and shoot his longbow at it. for a 26.
26 hits.
For 9 points of damage. I'm going to take my second shot. We're going to dump a arcane shot into this one. Should have did it on the last one. That's an 11.
11 misses. Unfortunately, that second shot again. The wind is whipping between the beating of the wings and the wind ripping through the valley. It's very hard to get the arrows to fly straight.
Gonna bonus action or just action surge, I guess, as well, because why not? Gonna do arcane shot again on this one for 17.
17 hits. Sorry.
Fantastic. This is gonna be it's gonna be the grasping arrow, so it's gonna take 2 extra d6 poison damage. So 10 plus 2d6. So 10 points of poison. And then its speed is reduced by 10 feet, takes 2d6 slashing damage the first time it moves. Got to make a strength save against a 12 DC to try to break out of it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So what does that shot look like?
So as Ash is firing off arrows, you just kind of see this one there seems to be like wind behind it as it's picking up just kind of random foliage from the ground with it as it travels. And once it strikes, you just see all that foliage just insta-grow and just wrap around. And all you see is like sharp sticks and thorns and whatever, all the native bramble and weeds and stuff wrap up around it and just kind of start whipping around its body and just entangling it up. And then I got one more shot. It was action surge. Oh, I wanted to be a nat 20 for 22
hits, yep.
And another 6 points of damage. And that's it. That's a lot. I still got movement. Never mind. Durango's right, and I'm gonna run back into this little doorway for a second.
So like even in that wrapped up state now, you get a slightly more still version of it, and you gauge the wind, and that second shot also catches it hard. You see the arrow sort of stick into the creature. And with that, we are back at Durango.
With impeccable dramatic timing, Durango pops out from behind his cover, strikes a pose, and his extra fingers on his left hand just make like an impossible shape on the fretboard. And he taps out a couple of quick notes on the mandolin, doing some bending and then like sliding as he does so, and it makes them sound almost like a bunch of people screaming. And he casts Hex. And we're going to go with strength ability checks at disadvantage.
Okay.
Nice.
I got your back, man.
Thanks.
And with that, he'll throw an Eldritch Blast at it. That is a 15 to hit.
15 hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
So that's 6 plus the extra d6 from the Hex for another 2 damage, 8 altogether.
Then you're
And-
past. Yeah.
Oof, that's a 10 to hit. Yep,
10 misses, unfortunately.
With that turn spent, Durango once again heroically hides behind the stonework.
Yeah, so the first one slams into it. Again, you hear the creature scream. The second one now, as it continues to fight against those twigs and everything sort of encompassing its space, that the second one just gets caught in the wind and goes wide. Casimir.
Esmir will step to where he can see the bird and toss a fireball right behind it. So I need a dexterity saving throw from it, please. Pretty good damage.
Wow. Wow.
Ooh.
And fails.
29 points of damage as that small red bead goes out and just behind it. And then he steps back behind.
I'm so glad
Yeah, you see
we
that
brought
that
him
point
along.
that point up in the sky just explode in this sudden burst of fire and flame. That air that's kind of whipping across the valley now, kind of almost tornadoes as the cold air mixes with the hot, and it kind of whips. You feel the warmth as it kind of whips close to your face there, Cole. Somewhere up above, you can still hear the creature screaming as these burning feathers are just dropping to the ground. It looks angry.
Tell me, how does it sound? How does it smell?
It
Burning
smells angry.
It smells angry.
Nice.
All right.
I'm glad we're getting this damage. This.
Does it take damage when it moves, or does it have to get
Yes.
rid of the... Okay.
Right. I need to make a strength saving throw,
Yep,
right?
I gotta make the strength save.
With disadvantage.
Why a disadvantage?
From
It's
the
still
hex.
Hex only affects ability checks, not ability.
Oh,
and not
beautiful.
saves.
Either way,
It's
first one was a 9.
So yeah, the 12.
Yeah, but what was the save?
Oh, strength. 12. Yeah, you had to beat a 12.
Yeah, the first roll was a 9. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's the dex.
Yeah.
So
You
12
saved.
still. 12 still beats it. So
Okay, I was very
beautiful.
confused for a second.
Yeah, you can feel. Yeah, so the you can see those wrappings just burst off of it now as it kind of swoops around that dark shadow moving around the backside of the tower. And Durango, unfortunately, is she gonna swoop down on you?
Mr. One hit point himself. Oh no, we got rid of that. Never mind.
Yeah.
I still like to think he only has 1 hit point.
I still act like I only have 1 hit point.
Oh, Durango.
Buddy.
Jesus.
Buddy.
How far is he away from me?
Good, like 10
Durango, he's about 10 feet around a corner.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'm not gonna be able to.
15 feet.
Starting at low. Okay, that must make a saving throw. Never mind. Okay.
You wouldn't even be able to see him because he's kind of hiding back there.
Yeah, or protection. I don't think matters if you see
yep.
him or not. But okay.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. So as the rock just sort of swoops around the backside of the tower, it darts down, and this one big eye turning as it comes and just swoops down incredibly fast. Durango, that beak slamming into your stomach. That you take 29 points of piercing damage.
Jesus.
Oof.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah,
26. And
Yeah,
I need you to make a strength saving throw, please.
Do I still need to if I'm at 0?
Oh no.
Automatic.
That first one put you at 0.
No, I mean after like this hit. So do I need to make the strength save if the damage is?
Oh no.
Okay.
So that's a 22.
Yeah. No, I'm quite incapacitated.
All right. Yeah. So you, as you suddenly these claws sort of tear into you at the same time. The talons pick you up. Now it is still that was all its movement, so it's still down there on the ground. But you see, for Casimir, Ash, you can see now that this rock has Durango in its claws, just holding onto him, beginning to sort of beat and start to try to take him to the air. Cole.
Yeah, this ain't happening. I run right out. Okay. I think. Man, I can't heal him as a bonus. Okay. The only way I can help him is to try to wake him up. So, no, I'm gonna attack him. I'm gonna try to like.
Durango?
Yeah. No, the bird.
I mean, we've all thought about it.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay.
No, I'm just gonna. I'd be angry at it at this point. I don't think I'd try to heal. Yeah, I'm just gonna start tearing into the side of this thing, you know, terrible form, and just trying to rip them to pieces.
Ooh.
26 hit.
Oh.
26 hits for sure.
That's 7 points of damage. Smite.
As if there's a question.
For another 11 points of damage. Extra attack.
I was gonna say, yeah. Don't you have 2 attacks now?
Yeah. That's a 19 to hit.
Nice.
A 19 hits, yeah.
It's 11 points more of damage. Nice. Yeah, I can afford another smite.
I mean, now might be the time.
Yeah. Oh God, 2 points.
You smite twice in one
Yeah,
turn?
you can smite on every
Yeah,
attack.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Well, it wasn't worth
You have the
it.
spell slots.
2 fucking points of damage.
That's all right. So trying to avoid Durango, you just begin hacking and slashing, stabbing out at the creature's massive claws as one of them still holds it. It's just like looks down at you, just like roars at you, hisses in your face as it still attempts to make off with its prey. Says Veta.
Tens will look at his crossbow, scowl, and then rush forward and try and hit it with the booming blade. $20 to hit.
20 hits.
And he has a friend nearby, so he gets his 3d6 sneak attack. So let's start with Demolish. 11 points of radiant there. 11 more points of radiant from the sneak attack, and then booming blade. Ugh, stupid! I don't want to do that. Let's see. At this level, it's still a D8 of thunder. That's 7 points of thunder now, and if it decides to move for any reason, it takes another 3 thunder, and he will use his bonus action to disengage and run the fuck away. Like a proper rogue. So he
All
just
right.
rushes in.
Yeah, you just dart in. That sunblade just suddenly apparating, right? Slashing. You can see those already singed feathers. It just sort of rips through, and they burn as it hits as you strike at the legs, trying to get it to release Durango. Ash.
Do I do something stupid?
Yes.
Hmm.
Always do the stupid thing because it's cool. Usually.
I'm trying to think if... No, Ash wouldn't do that. He would just pop out, and he's going to fire off 2 more shots. Sorry. But he does it a really cool way. He's got the 2 arrows knocked like it's Robin Hood Men in Tights, and just straight off fires off 2 at the same time.
Patriot arrow.
Patriot arrow. Once I figure out where my longbow is. 22 to hit with 5 points of damage. Second arrow. 14 misses.
14 misses. Yeah, the first one hits. Yeah, that first arrow again slams into that leg. You can see that claw holding Durango sort of tense up for a second.
I'm gonna run up to it as I kind of draw the sword out of my short sword off my side, and that'll end my turn just in face contact with it.
Yep. All right, Durango, death saving throw, sir.
These are my favorite.
That was
a
almost
14.
a crit.
Almost, but not quite. All right, 14. So that's one success. Casimir.
All right, I think Casimir is done with this bullshit. And he's going to move forward. And I hit a wall apparently, but he's basically going to get here if he can. And try and angle a cone of cold at it in a way that would not hit anybody other than the bird. And while it'll probably succeed, the damage is high enough that it makes it worth it. I need a con save DC 14.
Ooh, wow.
Just saves.
Just saves.
So it takes half of 38.
Oh, that would have been so good.
And I mean, it's not like he can do anything else. So he's just gonna stand there and probably die.
So you can see the rock now looking rough, right? Those wings, it's like struggling to get itself and pull itself up off the ground. That cold, despite avoiding or that cold wind, to say it doesn't have quite the impact that Casimir wants. It doesn't freeze him, but you can tell that it's he's clearly struggling to combat and fight through the air and pull himself out of this position. With a quick fling, he tosses Durango.
Can I use my reaction to catch him?
You can try.
Yeah, as he flings, Cole just I don't know. Tries to I don't know. He tries to catch him. Bucket.
All right. Go ahead and make a. Go ahead and make a. Let's say dexterity saving throw.
Fuck, a 5.
5. Unfortunately, yeah, he's just thrown a little too far. It's basically just over your head, about 15 feet. Durango, you take another 5 points of bludgeoning damage, which doesn't really matter. You fail 2 death saving throws.
Yep.
As your body just bounces, now lifeless on the ground, just skidding across the rocks. And with that, it is going to take flight.
Do I get that attack?
Trying to move 120 feet in the air. So the only person that has a reaction left would be you, Ash.
Casimir. He has a dagger.
I'm sorry, and Casimir.
That 12 don't hit.
I don't think a 9 hits either.
Yep, neither hit as it just beats its wings and just pulls itself up. You watch it go 120 feet in the air.
Bye, bird.
That dark shadow slowly getting smaller and smaller. All right, Cole.
You know what I'm doing? He just drops actually just drops whatever's in his hands and runs over to Rango and just kind of scoop him up, support the back of his head, put my hand on his chest, and I'll use my other 15 points of lay on hands to get this man back on his feet.
Did it take the 3 points of thunder damage from the thunder?
I did give it the 3 points of thunder damage, yes.
Okay.
Fantastic. 15?
Yeah.
All right, Durango, you suddenly gasp, that cold air just filling your lungs. Suddenly, Cole standing above you, a familiar sight.
Your damn time, mate. And I hoist him up.
All right, so the rock is in full-on retreat. It is very quickly dashing away. So actually, that 120 probably should have been. We'll give it
420 or 240.
Nice.
240. So does anybody want to do anything before it disappears?
Yeah, Casimir has one more ice storm.
Okay, sure.
That's got a 300-foot range. Dexterity saving throw from it.
Not its best, by the way. But good there.
Okay, so it takes half. Let's see. So that's 3 points of bludgeoning and 5 points of cold. So 8 more points of damage.
Okay.
Not the best.
Yeah, it struggles to beat through it a bit, but it just continues its ascension.
Why not? We'll throw off 2 arrows at it. My longbow's got the range. Oh, that should have been a disadvantage, shouldn't it?
16 hits.
If it's past the first range on my bow, that's a disadvantage, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow, 13 misses.
13 misses, yep. Yeah,
Okay.
that wind whips up. The arrow's tough to hit.
And then the second arrow for 14.
14
All right.
misses.
Turn around and check on everybody. Stupid bird.
You go, mate. And I just make sure, help Durango up into his feet. Everyone still got their limbs.
Yeah, I'm good. Durango, you're having a rough couple days there.
Like our adversary, this Strahd, this bird also appears to have fine taste.
You know, that's what you get for being the face of this, I don't know, group, people, adventurers. People come for you.
My
Have fun
friend,
being the leader.
I am quite accustomed to the reactions of of the adoring people and those who are less adoring. And you must excuse me for a moment. And he proceeds to, clean himself up, then cleans Cole up, and then plays a warm, gentle tune on his mandolin, and casts Cure Wounds at the 3rd level.
Nice. Very nice.
Tins is just going to be scanning the sky, watching for that bird to come back.
Cole's retrieved his gear at this point.
Nice little bout of healing.
Definitely helps.
Don't forget that that's plus your charisma modifier.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, we think we're in the clear for the moment. Still scanning the skies.
Yeah, so as you all look around, the bird seems to have vanished beyond that dark shadow, moving somewhere high up in the mountain range. The wind still whips, staring back across the bridge. There seems to be no shadow, no shape, just the 2 armored figures on horseback charging each other at the other end of the archway.
Did we hear any stories about the 2 figures at any point from the Vistani?
Nothing you've heard of.
All right, well, let's get somewhere where it can't get us.
Yeah, get some cover off this bridge. About what time of day is it, DM?
I believe it's a little after noon.
All right.
It's always difficult to say because the sun is perpetually overcast, right? In the sky, bits of rain and snow continue to fall, but you think you can see the sun sort of peeking through high above overhead.
Don't look right into the sun, you'll burn out your retinas.
It don't matter here, mate.
I don't know that that's actually true.
What's a retina?
Hmm.
Yeah, we still got a few hours worth of travel. Unless anyone needed to take a rest here. I mean, I'm not in tip-top shape, but I could still walk.
Casimir?
I mean, I'm definitely not hurt, but probably could use a rest.
Sorry, and he sort of peels his eyes away, and his eyes are also looking, still scanning the sky. Yeah, that was unexpected. But I guess we should expect that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think I would be surprised at this point at giant birds sweeping out of the sky, but every other day is something different, yeah?
It's a dangerous land. Even this bridge itself is. Could you imagine an army trying to storm into Barovia using this passage? It's valley itself was once, from what I'm told, very beautiful, very secure.
Do you know anything about the two? He kind of points to the statues.
I'm unaware of any sort of story or tale. It seems to be just decorative. Like I said, this used to be a quite mighty kingdom before Strahd and his family stormed through.
Well, onward then, unless we need a moment. And he makes a pointed look at Durango.
Despite the thrashing that he just took, Durango was once again immaculately groomed and seems none the worse for wear.
Yeah.
Fred, I do not believe it would be wise to remain in the same place at which we are attacked by such a fierce beast.
Alright. You got objections?
Let's get a move on, and hauls himself off of his resting place and.
So the
continues
bridge
down the
now,
bridge.
covered in a little bit of ice, was already slippery. Although, again, this massive 90-foot structure, 10 feet across, is fairly safe. Deep down below, 500 feet or so below the bridge, you see that river, that Luna River, just broiling and racing somewhere off to that placid Lake Valaki. Thought hits you, it's almost amazing that it somehow tapers and loses so much strength before it gets there. That lake would just be perpetually calm. But underneath it looks, underneath you now from the mountains, it looks violent and raging. You guys can go ahead and control your tokens. You can go ahead and move down.
Okay.
I don't like that we get to do that though.
Yeah, no.
I know you don't want to, but you can.
Cole, you take the front. I'll keep an eye on the sky.
All right. Watch your step. It looks like this is fairly slick. Yeah, and I'm not being overly careful, but definitely more of a shuffle in my walk than just big careless steps.
Durango's doing big careless steps, like he's just strutting along without a care in the world.
So as you continue to cross, again, that cold wind blowing the snow across the path that continues along the side of this massive mountain, continuing to fall down further and further, 500 feet into that valley below, and then continue to climb upwards. The path is carved, moving south, sort of southeastern, in its wake, heading towards the mountains beyond, which you see are I guess reminiscent of or where the Amber Temple is supposed to be. Another small gate seems to block your entrance. A guard tower standing maybe 30, 40 feet high, directly adjacent, like almost as if the cliff itself spawned it, jutting out like a giant fang. The top of the guard tower itself is adorned with these more figures, right? These armored knights perpetually and endlessly keeping watch over a stone gate that spans the chasm.
Before we finish passing through this gatehouse, can I just take a look in these rooms and see if there's what's in them quick?
Sure.
Check the other side. Just doing a quick glance, see if there's anything of note.
Yeah, make an investigation check. Or a quick glance perception.
Quick glance. Natural 20 for 25 on the perception check.
Yeah, so you look through and even whatever would have been here from a structural standpoint, where individuals would have stayed and kept guard and watched over the lands, this southern entrance into the valley of Barovia, there's nothing that remains. There's ice and snow have caked a little bit of the ground. The stone itself, almost barren and gray. No foliage, lifeless. No remnants of tables or chairs or anything. Just a completely empty stone room.
Ah, they didn't leave anything, did they? Okay. Moving on.
Okay, yep. Maybe 150 feet or so away, you see that that gate and this odd green glow that seems to be emanating from the gate itself.
Odd green glow from the gate itself.
Yeah, as you get closer and closer, you can see that it is not just a glow, right? The gate actually is positioned beyond this wall, this curtain of green flame that extends across the archway.
Can Tins get a grip on what the flames are?
Make an Arcana check.
24.
So with a 24, it would appear to be some sort of it's magical in nature for sure, right? But it's hard to determine, I guess, the source of it, if it's not just a continual spell, some sort of curse, something that is keeping that area blocked. But it is sort of contained in an area. It is magical in nature, if that's what again you're looking for.
How tall up does this gate go?
It's about 30 feet.
Well, I know I can get over it. See if I can find some sort of mechanism or anything like that to get past it. Casimir, you got anything?
I don't know, Casimir, do you have anything?
Got fly. Quick.
Of course, we could attempt to pass it, but give me a moment.
Asher's gonna walk over.
Yeah, I was gonna say they had to get in and out. Maybe the guard tower's got some sort of
Unless
runic
it's a
mechanism.
Seal. That's true, but guard tower's gotta guard something. Especially if the guard is green.
He sort of
fire.
looks over at you as he whispers a spell, and you can see the slight tingle around his eyes as he looks and scans the gate.
Hmm.
Oh, interesting.
Well, he's gonna pull out his marbles and begin like ritual casting detect magic.
As he watches you, he waits for your spell to kick in. What's interesting is that as the spell kicks in, and your eyes begin to perceive that magical aura around you, you see your friends and Casimir. But as you scan the gate itself, even the green flame, actually is not illuminating any sort of magic.
Does that mean it's not arcane? It means it's more divine.
I'm not certain, or there's something else afoot, something else at play. But
Well, it's not illusory.
continue to look up, and he points up at the top of the gate. These two stone gargoyles that are just slightly glowing. It's not the only protection this gate has to offer.
Right. So my thoughts of going over the gate are probably moot. I mean, can I see through the flames?
Yeah, so essentially, sort of looking at the gate, right? You see on one side is this rock which the mountain road kind of clings to, right? And so the other side, these icy cliffs rise sharply down towards those rolling clouds, right? Ahead, you can see there's a high the wall itself, right, which is a high wall of like black stone lined with spikes and topped by these two statues of these almost like demonic vultures with horned heads. Set in the center of the wall is this closed iron portcullis just beyond the green flame.
I could still get through. Assuming that being on the other side of that doesn't mean that our friends up top decide to start thrashing.
Yeah, it would seem that's the point, yes.
I think at this point, maybe me and Ash have already gotten into this tower.
Ash would have checked for anything obvious, nothing real in depth, and then it would have just tried to stand off to the side, and then would have just stood off to the side and thrown the door open.
Sure. So as you as the two of them are examining the gate, you throw open the door to the tower, or you attempt to. I'm sorry, but it is locked.
Hey, hands.
Yeah? What?
I need your fingers.
You what?
Oh, you're talking to the wrong. It's a good season to talk to you about that. Maybe later we can talk about it. I didn't know you were into that. And he's gonna move forward and like pull out his thieves' tools.
I don't get it. What I miss? Oh, you sick fuck!
Hey mate, you go watch your
You
face.
haven't. You don't know anything about sick fucking yet, and he's just gonna keep going. Go for the lock on the door. Is it showing up as magical?
It is not, but unfortunately, as you go, you walk over with your thieves' tools and you look down. There is no lock. It would just appear you kind of push on it, and it appears that the door is barred from the inside.
All right then, not a job for me. Though we can talk about the sick fucking later. And my fingers. Cold. Break it.
My friend, perhaps there is one more thing we could try before employing the broad shoulders of the great circle Mavvin.
But this will be more fun.
Let him do his thing.
Durango grins and fires up a little ditty on the mandolin and casts Mage Hand. Gonna try and displace the bar from the other side of the door.
Okay, make a mage can lift what, 10 pounds?
10 pounds.
10 pounds. Yeah.
I can do that too. Do you want some help? And
My friend, the more the merrier.
he spins up a couple marbles, and as he does, they begin to spin in midair, very much like a la Last Airbender. And a little swirl of leaves goes up to help on the other side.
Okay, how about I'm gonna have the two of you make Arcana checks. One each.
It had to be Arcana.
Had to be Arcana. Well, you cast
12.
a spell, man.
Um,
I mean, charisma. I'm gonna go
Charisma
with
check
Arcana.
and an intelligence check, but you know.
Sure.
You know what? We're gonna throw a luck point at that one because that was trash.
While they're doing that, I'm gonna look. How high is this tower?
It's 15.
The tower itself looks maybe 30, 40 feet high. You can see those, what now, like glinting in what little sun you can see, these like golden statues at the top. 15. Okay, great. So 12 and a 15. Yeah. So you managed to coordinate with the two mage hands. You pull up and you can hear on the other side. It's a bit of a struggle, right? Because you're trying to almost do it blind as the mage hands, and you hear the slamming of this heavy wood and iron bar bang loudly against the floor beyond.
He winks at Casimir.
Durango looks at everybody with a toothy grin and gives a deep, theatrical bow.
Ash puts away the rope that he was pulling out. Oh, yeah, okay. Right.
Hey, just Rango, huh?
Well,
I mean, he's the only one that bowed.
He's a great Durango Fortescue. I don't know what you want from me.
All right, so who enters first?
At that comment, Tens is.
All right, Ten. So as you burst into the room, all right, the first thing that strikes you is this low whistling howl that seems to emanate from this cold hearth that stands across from the door. As the wind hits the chimney up above and just whips through it, you can see the bits and remains of what might have been ember or twig, long since dead and unused, just kind of whip around and whistle around the room. A stone staircase is the only other thing you see on the southern wall, and 3 windows that seem to look out into the fog-filled sea of nothingness below. Otherwise, the room is completely empty.
Well, if that's the case, up the stairs we go. How long does
detect magic?
You might want to wait for us, mate.
Nope.
I ain't got no healing left, so
Say there's still some fuel left in the fireplace there?
Nothing usable. I'm sorry, Tens, you said you start climbing the stairs? I'm sorry.
Oh, hey, yeah, no, it just auto moved me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Brilliant. Love it.
The upper level of the tower, as you ascend those stairs, is icy cold. As the wind just continues to whip through. Bits and pieces of it, snow has formed on the outer walls surrounding the structure itself, creating almost an ice box. A rusted iron ladder bolted to the floor and ceiling leads up to a wooden trapdoor. And mounted above the stone hearth here is a dire wolf head. This massive wolven head just staring down at you, cold and lifeless.
Ash is gonna go shake the ladder, see if it falls apart.
You shake it. Seems sturdy.
I was going to
Made
try
of
to
iron.
head down.
Second.
Did you? It's obviously not rusty. Did you think it was going to fall apart?
He said it was rusty, didn't he?
Is it rusty or just iron?
DM question.
I know. I'm gonna find it. Hold on.
Oh.
Sick brain here, guys.
All right.
Sick brain, sick brain.
I keep losing where I'm putting things.
We forgive you.
I literally have no idea where it is.
Well, they do.
I know, Chuck.
You have 101 temp in your 101 in our hearts. I don't know. That sounded better in my head.
That was bad. That was real.
Keeping it 101.
It is rusted.
101?
A rusted iron ladder. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I
Well,
mean,
got that sorted.
just because it's rusted doesn't mean it's going to fall apart. I mean, you would think that you would start to see bits of it falling apart. Yeah. Just
When you've
go with
been-
just go with the fucking ladder.
You've gone up as many bad ladders as I have. You learned to check.
How many bad ladders have you been up?
Approximately 2. But when you get 30 feet up and it breaks out from underneath you, that's not a fun fall.
The fact that you've been up 2 30-foot ladders that were rusted and bad says a lot about you, and he's just going to start to climb.
Cole's working on dismounting the dire wolf head.
Yeah.
Ash will follow Tens up, kind of just like, oh, what?
Do you pull the head off the wall?
Mm-hmm.
It is attached to a like a wooden placard underneath, but it is not in the greatest repair. Right, it's a little warped due to time and weather. But the head comes off easily enough. You have now have a wolf's head, black.
Yep.
The other
Sure
two
do.
go upstairs. Yes.
Yeah. This will look great over my mantelpiece.
Paladin, swindler, aspiring taxidermist.
Ash, I don't know where your token went.
I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
up on the
good.
third.
Okay, you guys are good. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So the top of the tower is covered in a thin blanket of snow, kind of rolling and roiling across the floor between the parapets and those statues. Those statues, these 10-foot tall, gold-plated statues, standing atop the battlements, facing outward. Each one depicts a female human knight holding a lance. As that wind stirs under the snow, you can see human skeletons clad in rusted mail armor. 4 of them, clinging to long, deteriorated weaponry.
Huh. Well,
Do these female golden statues look anything like the descriptions we got of St. Markovia?
Make a history check.
How about a 12?
12. They don't appear to, and you've seen several icons of her, although her form is a little twisted due to time and storytelling. But they seem very, I guess, generic and make no real identifying characteristics outside of the the fact that they are gold plated and again some remnants of some long dead empire that existed here before Strahd ever entered the land.
can I tell what killed the folks? I mean, they're obviously long since
Make a medicine
decomposed
check.
or whatever. But
Medicine?
medicine?
Sure.
Medicine. Is 16.
It's close.
It wanted to be a 20. It really did.
Yeah, I would say looking down, you're familiar with tracking and hunting, right? And looking through these sorts of sites. It doesn't seem like the individuals that are up here there's no broken bones. They're not scattered around. It looks like however they died, it was probably exposure or starvation or something along those lines.
All right. I'm going to start inspecting for like keys or just there can't be too much left to look through, so see if there's anything that could point us in the direction of what the hell those flames are.
You find some tattered bits of cloth, broken longbows and arrows, rusted blades, rusty chainmail. Nothing of value.
I'm gonna grab what's left of the bones and the cloth. What's this thing right here?
Our souvenir's better.
It's the
Saying.
chimney. It's the chimney
Okay.
that leads down further
Okay.
into the.
And they're all facing away from this, like they're guarding it from, like, looking out.
Like they're guarding the pass. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now,
If I go to the top of the tower and look down over the top, what do I see past the gate?
You see the path. The path just continuing to follow that mountainside further off before it twists into the fog.
Asha's gonna go down the ladder and try to light a fire in the fireplace with the bows and the cloth.
These statues don't seem to be like articulated in any way. Like they're solid. They don't look like they move at all. What was that?
Make an investigation check. Sorry.
Yeah, horrible 5.
5. Yeah. I mean, you attempt to reach them, but the snow and the ice make it difficult, and it's hard to tell if they ever articulated. They're long since locked into place. They don't seem to move or wiggle or anything.
Rango, if this all settles, we should come back here and harvest them, eh? Sell for a penny.
Durango tears his eyes off of the gold plating to look toward Cole. You know, my friend. Sorry, what are you saying?
No, you get the idea.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, get down the ladder.
You two are insufferable.
As you guys come down the ladder, Ash has managed to put a few old bows and some cloth on fire in the fireplace.
Why, Mr. Ash, this is most considerate. And Durango comes and squats by the fire with him, makes a show of warming his hands.
It ain't much, but it's honest work.
So you guys kind of taking a short rest in here?
Sure.
Yeah,
why not? It's
Might
not
as
of
well.
course I do.
The room begins to heat up slowly as that ice and snow whip, and you have several times you have to fight to keep the fire going as the air kind of whips through the room. But for the most part, it's comfortable, and considering the space, you almost feel fortified behind these massive ancient castle walls that surround this guardhouse.
Enz is going to do everything he can to stay at the top and just kind of watch the gargoyles, the gate, and just study it while he's resting.
Yes, it would be useful if we had some way to dispel the magic and see if we could sort of cancel out this green flame, yes?
Indeed it would, though that doesn't seem viable.
My friend, you will find that many things are possible when you travel beside the great Durango Fortescue.
Durango Fortescue, yeah.
Yeah, Durango, do you have such capabilities?
My friend, there are very few abilities which are out of the reach of the great Durango Fortescue. Please follow me. And with that, Durango starts heading down the stairs.
Wait, why are you just... We did this whole thing up and down the tower. You could have just been like, oh, there you go, gone.
Why, my friend, nobody ever asked for these services. It seemed rude to offer when you were also interested in investigating this tower.
Okay. I'm not angry. I'm just agitated.
Ash hears a warm voice in the back of his head. He's lazy. When are you going to understand that?
I'm slightly more agitated.
Stand back, my friends. I cannot guarantee the safety of the rest of you as I attempt this feat.
All of you spent, roughly an hour or so. That's the sun steadily moving westward towards the edge of the mountains. Casimir looks and says, I guess the question is do we continue on through the evening, or are we going to stay put to Durango? Do you just want to test it?
I see no harm in trying.
Even if we
As I
get it
was saying.
down, even if we dispel it, yeah, we could still just go back in the tower and have a night, you know?
Yes, well, depending. Those two statues up there are somehow magical in nature as well, so please prepare yourselves.
Oh,
And
what
like,
you think?
Pop up the sunblade.
Right.
Knock an arrow.
Look, you don't know what the trigger is for them. It could be us just moving past the gate. It could be
Correct,
us.
but let's just be prepared nonetheless.
Exactly.
My friend, do you feel it would be pertinent, perhaps, to deal with these statues while they are still immobile, rather than trying to rip out our throats?
No, because at the moment, if you dispel it and they don't trigger as a result of it being dispelled, we can just move on through without having to deal with them. If they're connected to the wall, who knows?
Well, I forgot what Casimir is saying too. We just open it up and then we go rest either way.
I agree.
Okay, so I know about you, but I ain't got no way to heal nobody. So if these
I'll be-
things are dangerous, I can't do nothing about it.
It has been a long day for brave Circle Mavvin. Perhaps there is wisdom in waiting until the morning to redouble our efforts.
Is there heat coming off this fire?
From the flame, the
Yeah,
green
from the
flame
green
wall.
flame.
As you get closer and closer, yes.
At least it's gonna be warm. I mean, we could crash back in the tower again, but
How far away can you be to dispel it?
That's a really good question, actually. What are the limits on dispel magic?
isn't it 30 feet?
I'm not actually sure what the distance is.
Hold, please. Dispel 120.
That's right, because it's longer than counter spell. Okay, so here's an idea. You can peek out to the door, yes, and play your little mandolin. And he kind of eyes it for a moment, and we can just stay behind and bar it. And then it's not like they're going to pick us up and throw us off the side of the cliff if they can fly. They have to fight us inside. I'm better in close quarters. I don't know about you all.
Well,
Sorry, Casimir.
I hope nothing like that bird because I don't get hit hard much, but that was a bit of a mess.
Little mandolin misreturns this. Perhaps your untrained eyes are not qualified to know. But with examination, even they should be able to tell this is a
Anyway.
mastercraft fit for the finest of bards.
Do the thing from inside is my point. We can bar the door. We can hold on to it. Make sure if they decide to be weird, decide to do their fuckery thing, we can be inside at least where there is fortification.
Yes, Mr. Returns, there is wisdom in this. Perhaps the rest of you shall go inside while the great Durango Fortescue deals with the threat.
No, that's not what I said. You didn't hear me. Obviously, you'll play your mandolin too loud. Come inside, peek out of the door, and you, Cole, hold on to the bar. As soon as he dispels it, lock the door. It's not coming in.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mr. Returns, I shall face this alone while the rest of you are safely inside. This is correct.
No.
Ash is
God,
already
no,
inside up on the
such a
second floor, like
fucking
looking through an
nuisance.
arrow slit.
Alright, last time I'm gonna go on record and say this is a bad idea.
You're a bad idea.
From the
Alright,
top.
I know someone who definitely ain't getting no healing when I get back.
From the tower, you just hear, "Do something."
I too am wanted to say better to err on the side of caution, but of course, I will put my faith in you, Durango.
And Durango
like
turns
this is
to
just a
Casimir with
window or nothing.
smile and a bow. Now stand back, my friends, as I attempt to dispel the obstacle that blocks our path. And Durango, turns dramatically towards the wall of green flames and starts playing a really gentle melody on the mandolin. It almost sounds like a lullaby. It just grows in complexity and keeps building on itself.
Customer kind of spreads.
Go ahead and make a roll a d20. Add your spellcasting ability mod on it.
That is a 15.
Not so plus your proficiency. Sorry.
Oh, plus proficiency. I think that's, what is it, 3 right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so
It
yeah,
should be
18 altogether.
Right. Yeah. So as you cast a spell, you can see the flames almost sway and move with that gentle riff before they just kind of dissipate and vanish. That green glow fading away.
Do the statues do a thing?
That we'll find out after the break. So, as those green flames begin to quiet down and suddenly dissipate, you dart your eyes up to the sky, and then we'll find out what happens after the break. So, thank you everybody for sticking in there. Please make sure you're spending your elf eggs. I saw we're already starting to get some donations for the Nami drive. Remember, if you want extra entries into that, feel free to donate there. We'll have even more stuff coming out over that over the course of the next couple of days, as we donate to assistant awareness around managing mental illness, particularly for family members that are struggling through it. So, thank you everybody, and give us 10 minutes. We'll see you then. Right, and welcome back. So, you stare up, everyone readying themselves, looking as those flames dissipate. Nothing happens.
See? I told you.
Are the
50-50
gargoyles
chance.
still glowing green?
So the gargoyles were never glowing to you.
Oh, okay.
So you don't even know that they're for certain that they
Okay.
would have come to life. There was something magical about them that Casimir and Sveta noticed.
Tins is gonna pull those marbles back out and begin readjusting them in hand, recasting detect magic to step out and see what's happening.
Okay.
From the tower. Are you guys dead?
Not yet, fucker.
Durango
okay.
is at this point like regaling Cole and Casimir with tales of what he just did. They're already slightly embellished.
Yeah, I like it. And you could put that in the third verse of that new song you're working on, yeah?
My friend, that is inspired, yes. And you, Mr. Casimir, I'm glad you are here today to witness the great feats of Durango Fortescue.
I don't mean to stop you, Durango, but I think we have a problem. And as you look behind, and even just a little into you preparing to cast Detect Magic, that ritual that you go through, about a minute or so afterwards, those flames pop right back up.
Yeah, we sort of got to run through.
Warded. Well, he claps his hands. Cole, we staying here for the night?
Well, we already got the fire going, yeah? And Gold tugs on his jacket and kind of just like spins on heel and heads towards the second floor.
You guys know it was just like a couple bows and cloth, right? Like, it lasted us maybe 10 minutes. Are there any trees around?
There are a couple. Yeah, sure.
Do they look thoroughly dead?
No,
Barovia.
there are particularly. There's a couple big ones by the stone bridge.
Oh, right, because we have a map and I can use that.
Oh, hey, yeah, sure enough, there they are. God, we're smart.
I'm gonna go check and see if they're worth cutting down for firewood or not.
Yeah, you can see these two old, tall pine trees. Snow sort of covering the branches a bit as they whirl and kind of sway in the icy wind. But yeah, I mean they would make plenty of firewood, especially for a single night.
All right, I'm gonna take my axe, my woodcutter's axe or whatever it is, tree bane, and we gonna chop some wood.
Yeah, and it goes fairly quickly, smoothly. You manage to cut down the tree, split some of the logs, find enough fire and gather enough wood over the course of the next hour, just as the sun begins to set, for your team to continue to keep a fire going throughout the evening.
Put this in your song, Durango.
Yeah, Durango was playing inspirational music for Ash the whole time he was doing this. That's his version of helping. Mr. Ash, your exploits are quite worthy of song. I assure you, they shall find their way into the tales.
Ash is gonna go up to him and pat him on the back. Thanks, bud. And he just got pine sap all over. I'm just gonna kind of smear it over in the center of Durango's back.
Durango's totally unaware.
So you all gather yourselves. The air warming, the tower itself getting warm, and to the touch, almost life now in this long, dead pass. The night is yours.
Somebody come help me bar this door. And with whoever's help, rebar the door.
Okay. Yeah, you easily lift that heavy wooden block and place it over the door frame.
Ash is gonna take up a spot right underneath the stairs, and that's be about it for the night, unless somebody's got something for him.
We never we got tents, right? But we don't have sleeping bags. Yeah, all I got is this blanket.
Yeah, no, I would have.
You do, yeah. You actually all purchased them.
Yeah, I bought this everything.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, let's set it up then.
Sure.
I'll keep fast watch.
Yeah, so you managed to, in this the stone gatehouse, warmed now by the fire, sit and relax for a moment as you take out these thick, heavy wolf fur bedrolls that you purchased. The sounds, the only sound you hear, the wind whipping outside against the guardhouse. It's difficult to see very far because the light from the fire is sort of making any chance to look out beyond difficult. However, it's fog and mist. It just seem to pull up and wrap around the tower from the as if rising up from the valley below. So Tens, you keep first watch. You guys are on the second floor. Is that what you're doing? Keeping watch from?
Tens is gonna go to the top and keep watch from up top.
Okay. It is incredibly cold.
Bundled up, got that cold winter gear.
I mean, that is as the sun goes down, that icy wind just continues to whip across the top and just cut into your skin. But you stay up there and you manage to keep watch for several hours. Every once in a while, you feel the cold start to get to you, and you look down at those for the remnants of those skeletons at the top, sort of understanding what it must have been like. But go ahead and make a perception check.
Well, saps. Not a chance. 26 on a natural 20.
Natural 20. All right, 26. So, for the most part, the night goes by quietly. You look out, you look down the mountains at the pass, at those statues. Your eyes professionally, kind of try to keep them within your eyesight to make sure they don't suddenly burst to life to surprise your party. Some point in the evening, along the side of the mountain, rising up, you see a large four-legged shape sort of billowing, like bouncing, grazing. But for the most part, it seems to ignore you or the tower or the path. Somewhere in the dark, it just disappears after time. Otherwise, quiet night.
All right. He's just gonna go down and wake up whoever had next watch.
Okay.
I don't know why I take middle watch ever. I hate this.
Honestly, you do it to yourself.
I usually take like first or last, but and Ash will actually go downstairs because he's not dumb enough to stand out in the cold. And just kind of watch out the windows on the first floor, see if he sees anything.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Perception. For a solid 14.
So staring at the windows, it's difficult to make out anything beyond the mist and the fog and the snow that is being blown by the wind coming off the path and further down into the valley. But for the most part, the night goes by quiet. You don't hear or see anything moving along the mountainside. What limited vision you have is obscure, and there are no sounds. The hours pass, and you are suddenly, watching the sun begin to peak over the very eastern side of this mountainous valley.
Ash will go upstairs and start nudging everybody with his boot. All right. Up. We're wasting daylight.
Benz wakes up in winter.
This is appropriate. All right, go. Hey, why? You got something on your back? And start trying to clean off the back of his jacket.
Her hand just sticks to it because it's dried sap, and just kind of moves his jacket up and down.
Just bits of fur stuck to it from the sleeping roll.
My friend, this simply will not do. And Durango reaches over his shoulder and starts snapping furiously. Sir Cole, I hope that there is a time when I can teach you this trick, and perhaps you could do for me as I do for you.
Right, yeah, I've tried it, yeah. Just, I don't know if I ain't snapping right or something, but, I just gotta get a hang of it.
On his very last snap, Ash is gonna snap and make the sap come back right on the front of Durango's coat. He's just gonna time it with Cole's snap and cast prestidigitation and make the dirt come back.
Sir Cole, I'm afraid this simply will not do. Perhaps we should try again at a later date.
Can I make a check to see if I noticed if it was Ash or not?
Yeah, make a perception check. Well, I'll say, what's your passive perception?
I haven't had to look at that in a while. Where's my
10 plus passive, 10 plus modifier.
Yeah, so I think he's an 11, right?
Yeah, an 11. Yeah.
I don't know, Ash. Why don't you make a sleight of hand check?
Sleight of hand, okay. For a 14.
Yeah, no, you don't notice.
Tim's notices with a 16.
Rango, friend, I ain't mean it, mate. I apologize. Let me get on my hands again.
Ash gets that cold wind in the back of his head. That's pretty good.
He's just gonna give the rock's eyebrow to Tens and just kind of give him the finger.
The rock's eyebrow.
There is no apology necessary, Sir Cole. I believe that perhaps the mistake was mine, assuming that all could do as the great Durango Fortescue. I do sometimes get confused. It is quite all right. And he reaches out and gives him a pat on the shoulder. He tries to save face.
All right, so we're gonna go do the thing.
Can you think of a better way to start the day, Mr. Ash, than a performance from the great Durango Fortescue? Come. Yeah, Durango just struts down the stairs, like he's expecting everyone to follow.
Somehow, the more this guy almost dies, the more arrogant he gets. I do not understand.
Right, it's got nothing to do with the death of things. He just gets gradually more.
But it's literally in the case of the bird, biting him in the ass. I don't get it.
Mate, you're trying too hard. Just accept him for what he is. Oh, he's kind of amazing.
Oh. Should probably take our long rest, huh?
Yeah, click that button, friend.
Do the thing, click the button.
Can't do it for Casimir. Can I rearrange his spell list?
Yep.
Dope.
Actually, yeah, I want to switch something out.
Let's see what he has.
While the rest of his party is looking at books and stuff, preparing their spells for the day, Ash is just looking at Arrow. Picking some fur off the one because it's one of the Durango ones.
Within reason, Chuck. I think I'd like you 4 of them.
Of course. I'm not going to be crazy.
So as you all gather down in front of this gate, those green flames still roaring in front of you, blocking the portcullis beyond.
Okay.
So, my friends, you must be ready to make haste once the flames recede. And I shall be the last through to ensure that you all have safe passage, yes?
Yeah. Right.
Be ready, my friends. And with that, Durango turns to face the wall of green flames. And he starts playing the same song as the night before, but you can tell he's had some time to think about it and prepare for this, rather than just playing it off the cuff. And a lot more performance goes into it. There's some dancing. It's a little more complicated musically. And at the end, as he turns to face the assembled group, the flames flare up behind him right before they recede as he strikes a dramatic pose.
Ash just claps as he walks on by.
Tens doesn't even clap. He just brushes past him.
Okay, so all of you sort of rush past those green flames. As you get closer and the portcullis beyond, just even stepping towards it now, within 10 feet or so, the metal seems to screech, groan, and yell as it pulls itself up, opening for you as you approach. Do you rush through?
Yeah.
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 Come too far now.
As soon as he gets to the other side, he's going to turn and pull his sword out, flick it open, and just look at the gargoyles.
Oh yeah, weapons
So you
out. I'm assuming this is trap.
You stare upwards, these 2 monstrous, demonic, vulture-like faces just staring down at you, locked in perpetual stone. Their eyes seem to follow you as you go through, but nothing happens. Within seconds, that green flame wall just bursts into flames again, and the iron portcullis slams shut.
Hope no one needed to go to the bathroom.
They were already.
Yeah,
The door closed. We're not supposed to pee on the road.
I mean, there's like a knot road, like it's like 2-3 inches wide. You just gotta
It's an old habit.
aim.
Moving on.
You're not supposed to be in a row.
I never heard that.
No, me neither.
You pee in the bushes. You don't pee in the road.
I'm from the city. I've literally
Did
just
you
peed
not-
in the middle of the street before.
Did you not? What?
Yeah.
Sometimes you drink too much.
That's well, okay. That's different.
You never try to sign your name on the side of a button there? Nothing?
Got plenty of snow. We could try it.
Moving
Whoever
on.
gets like the most.
Can
You guys are
someone save
hydrated.
me? Save me, please.
Is this gonna come to performance checks? Is that what's going on here?
As all of you make your way, continuing along this icy path that seems to cut through and hug this stark mountain cliffside. The air and everything around is again cold and just quiet. No myriad of life, nothing that seems to indicate beyond where any sort of civilization might be. This dark temple, supposedly the source of Strahd's power. You continue to move along the mountains. Again, that cold wind whipping. Thankfully, with the warm clothes now, you hug them and pull them close. Casimir, still in his normal regalia,
What?
seemingly untouched by the cold.
What a bitch.
He's from here.
A few more hours and hours of walking and walking. And as the sun gets high again in that noonday sky, you begin to see your first signs of something. The road turns and Casimir points as the road seems to split. It meanders off southwards into that massive wall of mist. And then again upward, northward, climbing into the hillside. He says, yes, here's where we must go further into the mountains. It shouldn't be far now.
Well, let's get it on then.
Keep an eye out for giant birds, yeah?
And as you continue to wind this long winding path through this cliffside, it gets more and more difficult as you're climbing further and higher into the mountains. The path now looking down on the one that you took above or below. Yeah. As you can see it meandering through along this wooded area. Finally, it opens up. It opens up to a massive opening that seems to just, like a maw, sort of reach out of the stone itself. This wall, these intricate designs, broken and battered due to time and lack of maintenance, just sort of almost becoming a part of the cliff itself. And let me go ahead and get you guys here.
Yay,
Oh boy, oh boy.
here.
And exactly what you wanted, another map, right?
Yeah, always. Love maps.
Nothing bad ever happened on a map.
Nothing bad ever happened.
Never met a
on
map a Ned didn't like.
You know, there were so many like map-based things I was gonna say in my head. I'm like, these are too dumb. I'm not gonna say them. And then you all just kept talking. I'm like, I should have gotten there sooner.
Hello, Casimir.
Should I only have 10 foot of sight right now?
You, my friend, have polymorph available today.
Oh, hello. The lights got turned on.
Hey, look, a rabbit.
Daytime. Nighttime.
Look at that cute little rabbit right there on Durango's horn. just skewered on there like the proper masochist he is.
Gotta keep
The
those
rabbit
hoes
on
warm.
the. Oh yeah. Hold on.
It's a horn cozy.
It's just a
It's
live
just-
rabbit that he just cute.
It's how Durango wears a hat.
My friend, you will find it in more refined lands. It is simply in fashion.
So as the road fades away under the covering of snow, the front of the structure is 50 feet in height, with these 6 alcoves. Inside, nestled in each one, a 20-foot tall statue. Each statue carved from a single block of amber and depicting a faceless, hooded figure. Hands pressed together in a gesture of prayer. And between the 2 innermost statues is the 20-foot tall archway with a staircase leading down further into this mountainside temple.
My vote's the holy man goes first. With all the praying.
Well, I figure I'd want to do that anyway, but alright. And, yeah. I'll take point.
Watch in the back.
And just keeping an eye on the statues to make sure they're not doing, like, the, turn to face you when you're not looking thing.
Make a perception check.
11. I'm not good at this. I'm always trying to perceive things. I'm not good at it.
Yeah, your eyes dart between the faces, these faceless figures, hidden behind these large amber hoods. You feel like in a moment you could see in a reflection, almost like a scream of terror, as one of the faces turns to this tormented look, and then you blink and it's gone.
Oh,
You sort of shake and rub your eyes, and
I think we got fuckery already.
Sounds about right. That's why you're up front.
Yep. Alright. Should be this by now. Yep. With my way in. And, just keeping an eye out as I'm walking down the stairs and not trying to step on anything that looks fishy.
yeah, the icy steps descend 10 feet to a time-ravaged hallway. You can see now as you walk through it, arrow slits in the walls. And beyond the hall lies a vast sepulchral darkness.
Wait, what was that word? Sepulchral?
Sepulchral.
Like
a
sepulcher?
Yeah.
I recognize that word. I don't remember what it means. I'm Googling.
Tomb-like.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Oh, sorry.
Oh, which way you want to go?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, so as you step in further, this 20-foot wide balcony of black marble with shattered railings overlooks a vast temple. Behind you, the wind whips and howls as it blows into, cold air down into the temple itself, and just bits of dust and cobwebs seem to whip around and move in the darkness. The vaulted ceiling is 30 feet above this balcony, and the walls and ceilings are covered in amber glaze, lending the gloom of a golden sheen. A set of amber doors stand closed at the west end of the balcony, a similar pair to the east, but open. Ash, your eyes dart to that western door, and for a moment you feel like you see a glint of light, something beyond. You hear sounds. A deep rumbling, like a low growl.
Ash is just gonna give like a little, quiet whistle, just enough to grab everybody's attention. Just and then nod towards that door, and then do the like pay attention to this.
Yep. Shield up, spear forward. Start walking
Forward
towards
out.
walking towards that door in formation.
Durango, think you could push that open with your magic hand thing?
Does this look like a fairly heavy set of doors?
Yes, they are like these heavy iron doors glazed in amber. Yep.
This could be beyond the capabilities of this mere trick of mine, my friend. Perhaps even with the assistance of Mr. Tens. But we could try him.
Yeah, I guess.
I shall leave the choice to you, my friend. Shall we open the left or the right?
Don't matter to me. I just need to know where to stand.
He did point at the one on our right, with the whole thing.
Yes, but it is a double door, my friend, no? We could most likely double our efforts on a single side.
If you give me a few moments, I could have John show up and open it for us. Joseph is fired, so.
See if I knew what that meant. Yeah, sure. Do whatever.
It's gonna take me a minute. I'm gonna pull out those two marbles and hold them at about eye height, and just stare at them for a full 10 minutes as I ritual cast Unseen Servant. And then
I fully expect whatever's there to charge us in the meantime.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I would say within that time frame, as you are attempting to ritual cast this, right? That 10 minutes, a few minutes go by. Ash, you hear that low rumble turn into a growl in a deep and resonating bark that begins to go off. Suddenly the door bursts open, and from beyond it you see light shine through as several of these very burly, massive, mountain folk that you've seen before, several of the type that were at the druid clearing, stand behind with on chains this massive wolf, similar to the head that Cole pulled off the wall. And as the wolf barks in your direction, you can see they all grab axes. And let's go ahead and roll initiative.
All right.
Alrighty. No counter. There we go.
God dang, Casimir.
Bosh.
22.
Hey, that's way better than last time. Ooh, I don't like that direwolf initiative. Sometimes I don't like to know things. Ignorance is sometimes bliss.
Lies. Slander.
All right. Durango, so as the door bursts open and this figure begins, these figures begin pouring out of it. You can see the chains, they drop them and as the direwolf begins to lunge forward. But Durango, go ahead.
Sir Cole, it would appear that we have assembled quite an audience for today's performance. I would hate to disappoint. Durango launches into a very fast-paced, as if slightly rushed and panicked mandolin riff. And yeah, the air inside and around that doorway just explodes into psychedelic insanity as he casts Hypnotic Pattern. So that's
I read a tweet about this one time.
yeah, that's wisdom saving throws at disadvantage.
At disadvantage.
Yeah. 'cause
Yeah,
the
any
mandolin.
charm spells cast using the mandolin as a
Oh
focus.
no.
Yeah. That's a DC of 15.
Oh boy.
That's real good.
Only one of them saved? Is that what I'm saying?
2 of them.
Oh yeah, 2 of them. Okay.
My friends, the stage is set. Oh, sorry, you're muted, man.
I know. Yeah. So as the air bursts into a swarm of color and in mist, you watch as several of the gladiators, including the dog, the giant wolf, to start to drool and stare into this hypnotic pattern emanating all around them. Several of them bark and shout at the others in a language that's guttural and hard to understand. And but they're not getting any move. They start shaking and pushing. Is that in your turn?
Yeah. That's my turn.
All right, seeing the rest of the combatants sort of lost in your spell and seeing that mandolin being played, one of the largest of all of them kind of steps forward. You can see he wields, much like Cole, he pulls this large spear from his back, the shield. He bangs the spear against the shield a couple times, takes a few leaping steps, and hurls it at you. Durango, I need you to make, let's see. Oh god. That's a 15?
Damn, that's quite a bonus. Yeah, no, that hits.
Hold on. It says, oh, that's an attack roll. Never mind. Yep, go. Yep, sorry.
Please proceed.
Right, you take 13 points of damage as a spear is hurled towards you, and it slams into you. You feel the breath leave your lungs as it hits you square in your center.
Actually,
it deflects off.
Sorry, is it too late for me to do a disadvantage on the attack?
Why would you, for what?
Fighting style protection. If I have another creature, I think the Durango's within 5 feet of me.
He's not.
Far from it.
Oh, sorry.
Like 15 feet away from you, 20 feet away from you.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah, it's all right.
Alright, so I need to make a concentration check. That's Constitution, yeah?
Yeah.
A little rusty here, boys. It's been a while.
To save.
This will not do for the great Durango Fortescue. We shall expend a point of luck and try that again.
It's a counter.
Why did I take this feat?
Have you ever had luck do you any good?
Yes, he has.
Some DMs
Today.
hate it, and I gotta tell you, so like watching you fail twice in a row with such confidence is always. Yeah. So as the air suddenly leaves your lungs, Durango, that spear smashing your armor into your own sternum, the spell suddenly fades, and all that hypnotic pattern in the air just begins to stop, and everybody sort of shakes, and you hear the growling of the dire wolf. Casimir.
Samir's gonna toss fireball.
Solid choice.
As he does.
Put it right there on top of all of them because it's a perfect fireball.
boy.
Succeed, fail, succeed, fail, fail, succeed, succeed. So those that failed take 23, the rest take 12. And then he's just going to back away and maybe make a step down the stairs to try and get some cover. And that'll be his turn.
It was how much? 20. What was the damage? 23 or 12, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boo, 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 boo.
All right. All right, I'm just trying to get all these damages applied. That's the wrong one.
Just a reminder, folks, if you haven't thanked your DM lately,
Mm-hmm.
make sure you thank your DM.
Don't thank him. Donate to Nami.
Yeah,
Instead.
exactly.
That's how you say thank you.
Whoops. All right. So yeah, as the that point erupts suddenly in a burst of flame, you see the doors fucking slam open, crack against the wall, as that explosion racks through the temple. Bits and pieces shake. Somewhere up above the ceiling just sort of rumbles, and bits of dust and debris kind of start to fall. Let's see. This berserker here is going to rush out in front of the wolf and draw this massive great axe as he begins rushing into the fray. Let's.
The dire wolf turn was skipped.
Oh, yep. Sorry. The dire wolf is going to rush forward towards you, Cole.
Come on,
Being
big
the
boy.
first thing that it can reach, and it is going to bite. That is a 21.
Oh yeah.
As it leaps towards you, you take 11 points of piercing damage.
That'd actually be 8 because I have that 3-point reduction.
Yep. And I need you to make a strength saving throw.
A natural 20 for 24.
Nice. So as it leaps towards you, those teeth and claws, they snap onto your arm, and it tries to shake aggressively. As it does, it's everything you can do to just stay planted on your feet, but you stand your ground, you drop your weight, and you yank, and you just kind of punch the creature in the face, and it drops off and sort of starts to curl back and circle backwards. Ash.
Hell. And you see Ash knock an arrow, and this one just kind of seems to like suck in a little bit of darkness from the room, and he lets it off, and arcane shot, enfeebling arrow at no, not that guy, at the berserker or whoever just threw the spear, because that's who he's got his attention on. For a 24.
24 hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
That is 9 points of piercing damage, and then I gotta look up enfeebling, which is 2d6 for 6 necrotic. And then you also have to save on a con saving throw, or the damage dealt by your weapon attacks are halved until the start of your next turn. Yeah, that'll do it. Cool. Go ahead and let off my second arrow for a natural 20.
Wow.
So 28. For 14 points of piercing damage. Dab on it for the kids.
Oh no. What did you just do?
What?
He's
Don't worry
dabbing
about
on
it.
him.
Invoked the ancient rites.
Okay.
Is invoking something deep inside of me. That
Listen,
boils and rages.
I was happy I hit something. Let me
It
have
was a
it.
victory dab.
It was a celebratory dab.
So that first arrow darts through the darkness, pulling in bits and pieces of it. The gladiator puts his shield up, but it pierces actually through with the extra magical energy, but doesn't quite hit the target. He quickly reaches a spear down, breaks the arrow off as he turns to you. That second one catches him hard in the shoulder. Not expecting it, he turns back to you now, breaks that one off, and bites down and roars into the darkness.
How far is this drop off the side here?
How far down does it go?
Yeah, yeah.
About 20 feet.
Okay, never mind. Ash is gonna go ahead and
All right, never.
we're not gonna do that. Maybe I'm gonna move. Well, I'm gonna try to drop back by the staircase with Casimir. Once I figure out why I can't move.
Because it's not technically your turn anymore.
Oh, yeah, good point. Oh well.
Oh, okay, sorry. So you're trying to go to where Casimir is?
Yeah, just on the other side of Casimir's fine. That'll work. And that will be my turn.
All right, 10. So as they start pouring out of the room, rushing with these great axes, it's your go.
Huh.
Oh, please do it. Whatever you're laughing about.
Yeah.
It's super dumb, y'all. So dumb. Let me check something real quick.
I'm invested already.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even want you to check. I just want you to do it. I don't care if it works at this point.
Would that cone hit the other two back there?
Yes.
I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do that one. It's too stupid. That's a whole nother level of stupid I can't pull myself up to do. He's just gonna hit this one with a booming blade.
You're such a
26 to
disappointment.
hit. You can be disappointed all you want to. It's not a smart move, trust me.
26 hits.
It'll take 19 points of radiance and a 4 points of thunder, and then he will use his he's gonna make a bonus action. Which one does he do? Yeah, he's gonna give Cole advantage on his next attack against the wolf as a bonus action for help.
Yeah, as you dart forward and just stab and slice with that sunblade, and that second delay where the blade cuts and you can see it burn and singe as it cuts through the wolf, and then boom, that explosion that just rocks it and sends it flying backwards. The creature is just barely manages to pull itself up, blood like everything, and starts looking around, panicked.
He looks beyond it at the other one, and then just kind of like says to the side off to Cole, "Finish it."
Sort of the wolf. Oh, you skipped me, DM.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just a lot of things.
No, that's cool. as sort of the wolf was reeling back from that boom blade, I'm gonna kind of come up from underneath it. Well, right before, as the boom blade hits, I'm gonna smack my shield. I'm gonna bonus action cast Shield of Faith on myself, and then yeah, as it reels up, I'm gonna get underneath and sort of try to like stab him through the stomach there. Yeah.
First attack has advantage.
Okay.
You needed it.
Oh, I
Oh,
did.
God.
18 to hit.
18 hits.
All right.
So yeah, fairly easy strike too. As the wolf just barely manages to pull itself up now, looking around panicked, you just come in from the side with that spear and slam it through the creature. And as you yank and pull, it just drops lifeless onto the ground.
I pull the spear out, flick the blood off of it, and I move forward. I just sort of slowly stepping over the wolf. That's measuring. Spear around, or kind of come overhand with it and try to stab this dude in the face. This one.
Yep.
That's a natural 20.
Murder him.
Yeah, so as you step over that wolf, the charging berserker just sort of sees the wolf fall, and as it does, it runs almost right into you as you lunge the spear towards him.
That's just 17 points of damage on him. Is he still on his feet?
He is.
Oh, you know what's coming then.
Smite. I was gonna say, I just picture like stabbing out with the spear, getting this like crazy hit on like the guy looking down, laughing and going, ha, 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 and then the cold just ha, 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 back.
And that's 12 points of radiant.
Yeah, as you thrust that spear forward, all that divine energy just starts to crackle and burst along the edges as it helps propel the spear forward. You can see he cringes and falls back as he does his best to try to defend the blow, kind of rushing face first into it. He looks really rough, but he is still up.
That's both of my, yeah, that's right here. That's it.
All right, Durango.
Did you skip that berserker?
Nope, I had already moved him.
Okay. So Durango removes the spear, which has lodged itself into his person most rudely. Bleeding a bit, Durango's lost a bit of his usual charming composure, and he's openly snarling, his eyes flaring with annoyance as he slams onto the strings of his mandolin with a little extra aggression. The air behind, or like in front of Cole, yeah, like it just explodes with a big shockwave. Cast Shatter. It's a Constitution save all around.
Don't.
You don't have anything to worry about, Chuck.
Nah.
Got a few. Oh my god.
What are those rolls?
Oh.
Why so many ones?
My
Why so-
god.
That was the worst shatter I think I've seen. And that's
Was that
saying something.
7 points of shatter damage?
Or half as much if for any that pass their save. Franco's gonna waste no time seeing the effects of that shatter, getting far away from the aggressors.
Yeah, so as you begin to cast a spell, right, and the entire cavern here rocks again, and bits of debris, and you sort of nervously look up as you feel like you hear a crack in the ceiling, and it pulls some of the energy out of it. As you kind of second guess yourself in that last moment, but nothing happens. But those that are around it, you see that they clasp their hands to their head, begin to duck, and several of them avoid a good chunk of it. But some of them take 7 points of damage, whatever. It happens.
Everybody's got some performance
All right.
issues every now and then,
All right, and with that, was that end your turn?
Yes. I'm not going to try anything else after that.
All right, the large one kind of rushes past, almost like pushing past the one that's kind of bleeding and stumbling in front of you, Cole. He sort of smirks, and as he slams this in a very similar style to you, grabs that shield and spear and just starts to circle around you.
Oh, I'm matching him.
Is he just underneath that other token? Is that why I don't see him?
Okay, hold on. No, I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing something here. All right. So the first tag, as he lashes out with that spear, the first one's a 26.
Yeah, that's gonna do it.
For 10 points of piercing damage.
So I'll take 7 of that.
And the next one is a 15.
No.
Yeah, so as he starts to, he kind of leaps over the other one, and the spear catches you hard in one of the armor. You feel the armor buckle underneath it as it tends to pierce through. The second one, you manage to deflect with your shield as he sort of smirks and starts to move around you. Casimir.
Looking something up. I'm looking something up. I'm looking something up.
Casimir in the middle of the battle. Just give me a second. He's paging through his book.
That is what wizards do. Okay, you'll learn. I think for now he's just gonna toss another fireball down that way. We'll do the other thing later because it's more fun for later anyway. And here it says that I'll get everybody but Cole. Okay. So deck saves all around for everybody but Cole. Fail, 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 fail.
Wow.
Fail. Fail.
Yeah, all failures. Yeah, so as they are
21
rushing in,
points.
that floor again explodes in a burst of fire. It's everything it takes for you, Cole, just to barely withstand the heat as it erupts almost at your feet.
And then he just ducks back down.
All right, this one. Hold on. This one is dead.
Go, Casimir.
Why haven't we had Casimir with us the whole time?
Because he was depressed in his house.
We told him to stay home when he had been dropping fireballs on everybody for the past 15 episodes.
Yeah, but then it would have been only the past 4 episodes and not 15. So
That's true.
Fair.
We would have had much less character development. We would have looked at him again and, all right, fix our problem with fire. Go.
Yeah.
All right, this one's going to rush through with that great axe towards you. Swinging recklessly. That is a 20, Tensveta.
20 hits.
For 9 points of slashing damage.
I will use my reaction to uncanny dodge it down to 5.
All right. Yeah, so as this berserker comes rushing around the rest, darting over the corpses of the wolf and his fallen ally with that massive great axe just swinging wildly. It's everything you have not to get your head taken off. Ash.
Ash is just gonna look over at Kesimir. You not do this much? That was dope as shit. And is gonna see the person attacking Tens and loosen 2 arrows back to back. And not to be outdone, is gonna shoot one behind his back to look cool in front of Kesimir for a 26.
26 hits.
For 8 points of damage. And then he's going to be, see, I could do cool stuff. And just point at, not look at, just look straight at Kesimir and do the next one.
You're going for the one that's by me, right? Not the.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I thought you were hitting this one.
I think I had Gladiator marked, but I thought that one was dead, so that could be on me. So that one, yeah. My bad.
19 hits.
And
Nice.
11 points of damage.
And you technically, if that's the one you went after, you technically had advantage because it was for you reckless attack. So you want to just roll one more time, see if you get a 20?
Sure. You want me to roll one more for each of those? Why not? Go big. No. Nope.
Okay. Either way, that first arrow catches him again. He's swinging wildly at Tens. Tens is sort of dodging and trying to duck out of the way. Wide open, you fire 2 arrows simultaneously, one after the other. One second one looking straight at Kesimir as it slams into its head, and you just watch the berserker drop in front of you.
Fire bars are cool. So are arrows. And that'll end my turn.
Okay.
Ash has got some ego issues going on with the epic fireballs. Ash's magic never works, but Casimir's just disintegrates people. Meh, 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 meh.
It's not disintegrate.
Ash doesn't know the difference.
Cole, that's a 12 at you as the other one of the berserkers kind of rushes up to your, trying to flank you on the side, but you know, familiar with the maneuver, you manage to keep him at bay with the spear before you can get the axe anywhere close. This one is also going to rush in. Oof, same thing. So is it with a 13? Is 3 of them now start to circle around you? You're keeping your poise. Is a combat scenario that you've faced many times. As you're using the spear to sort of keep the distance, and as well as your shield to maintain cover. And with that, Tensveta, you are up.
You are muted, sir.
Muted, dude.
Wow, that's that. Yeah.
Tens is just gonna stab a bitch. Does an 18 hit the gladiator? Assuming it does.
No, it doesn't.
With a booming
Nope,
blade.
18 misses.
What?
Yeah, you go in with the sun sword, and just as quick as like lightning fast, the gladiator whips the spear around and knocks the blade aside just before it's going to make contact.
We're gonna stand right there. Give me just a moment. Need to check something. I don't think that's how that works, but he's gonna give Cole a bonus action help. And he's gonna look at the guy and just pure the audacity, and just go, "Fuck his day up."
I'm working on it.
Advantage on the first attack. It's your turn.
It's your turn, yeah.
All right. Remembering drills and the multi-person combat scenarios. I'm gonna use the fact that it's kind of wedged up against that rail to my advantage. So I'm gonna kind of maneuver myself that way and hit him from the side where he's pinned up against the back, so his spear doesn't have a lot of reach.
Okay.
Oh, it's terrible. That's a 13.
13 misses.
Oh no, I'll miss that.
Yeah, unfortunately, also just as well trained. Which one was it? The gladiator or
The gladiator, yeah, I'm working
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, he just he continues to you attempt to use that maneuver, but he definitely avoids it. And it's similar. It obviously looks like similar combat technique as he circles around both you and Tensveta.
Also, just go, well, whack. And
Stick him with the pointy end. Hard out.
Yeah, it's just to
It's
no
fine.
avail. Yeah, I mean, it's just every opening you try to take advantage of, he closes it quickly, and you're just unable to make contact.
So frustrated, like, buddy, this is just between you and me now, and I'm gonna use my bonus action to cast Compelled Duel.
Effective.
Do you lose the shield of faith on that?
Yeah. Wisdom saving throw of 14.
Man, this guy's a jerk.
He sort of smirks at you and whispers to the other one or barks orders to the others as the other berserkers start to rush forward.
This guy's a dick.
Oh,
It's too bad these two can't. These ones can't hit you, even with advantage on every single attack. Yeah. So 12. No. So yeah. Again, as more and more of them begin to circle around you now. Yeah. Again, your watch as the leader just continues to kind of direct them around you. All right, Durango.
Much like Cole's familiarity with these situations from his years of practice drilling, Durango seems equally as at home, blasting at things around Cole while he takes the brunt of the danger. So he's just going to loose off some Eldritch blasts at the one on Cole's left, like the southernmost one there.
Sure.
That was reckless attacking, right?
They all were. Yep.
Okay.
murder him. Or don't.
It's 13 to hit.
A 13 will hit that one.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I'll take it.
Lurkers are dumb.
So that's 6 damage.
T.
Second one's a 17 to hit.
17
for-
hits. Yeah.
It's also an advantage, I think.
For 11 damage.
Yeah,
Oh, is that-
all attacks have against it or advantage. Yep.
All right, I'll give that one more roll then. See if we get a crit. No, we
We
do
do
not.
not.
So what was the damage on the second one?
11. Or no, sorry.
Yeah, 11.
11. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought that was the attack roll. It's doubled up when I'm still kind of getting used to it.
Yeah, I mean, so in these wild swings that it's making, is Cole. You're watching Cole just sort of dart around to try to avoid all these attacks as he's trying to position himself to attack. You let these two Eldritch blasts fly, maneuvering around Cole as they slam into one of them. He stumbles back and just continues to start swinging.
That's my turn.
This time now, sort of smirking at Cole, he goes in like he's going to attack Cole, but again, at the last second, he twists the spear to aim at Tensveta. It's a 12.
12 misses.
So the first strike just doesn't quite make it, but the second one
Also doesn't make it.
is also doesn't miss. Yeah, yeah. Seeing it coming, you then use the Sun Blade to start deflecting his attacks. All right. Casimir.
I'm really tempted to just keep doing it, but it's not smart. He needs to conserve some semblance of spell slots, so he's just going to step around instead and shoot a firebolt at the gladiator. 17 hit.
17 with a firebolt will hit.
7 points of fire damage. Little shrug. Go back down. Meh.
All right, Ash, you watch as Casimir just gets out now and just starts firing little fire bolts into the crowd.
Ash, stupid magic.
The kettle will be flashing.
Fire.
Exactly. Can't always be flashy.
Ash is gonna return his attention to the gladiator, and you see that the darkness kind of, as he knocks the arrow, it's almost like he grabs the darkness with it and puts it in the arrow as he fires back, and is gonna do the enfeebling arrow again on the gladiator, or whatever that is. 22.
22 hits. Is that a Constitution saving throw?
Constitution saving throw. That'll save. For 9 points of damage. Does he take any other damage?
Does he not take half?
Well, you take 2d6 necrotic damage either way, so 4 more points of necrotic. And like super rapid fire, like right behind that, like you see like a black streak and then like a white streak right behind it as the second arrow is right there as well.
Yeah, this time seeing it, he smacks it away with the shield.
That's not fair. It's not fair. And
Yeah,
Ash
do
is
that.
gonna.
That's not allowed.
Ash is gonna use his action surge. Sorry if you moved me. I had to turn already.
Nope, you're good.
For 26.
26 hits.
5 points of damage. 16.
16 hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. For another 5. Man, these damage dice are just not.
Well, at
wanting
least you're
to
hitting
be-
something this time.
Yeah, well, there's pluses on
We're
that.
halfway there.
Yeah,
Now
as
we
the
gotta get the
arrows just
other
continue to
numbers.
hit, he's doing everything he can to stay under the shield, but several of them are catching and hitting him in the arms and the legs. He's just breaking them off as he goes, just still gritting through, facing down Cole and Tenzveta.
Okay, I'm gonna finish moving across the hall here, and that'll end my turn.
This berserker here. Swing at the tank. That's a 15.
Yes, sir.
Cole's just Neo from the Matrix right now, and just blurs and everywhere.
There we go. There we go.
Well.
24.
Okay.
Never mind, I spoke too soon. Sorry to jinx it.
Yeah, you ass.
10 points of slashing damage, Cole.
Reduce to 7.
And Tenzveta.
Tins is going to steady aim to get advantage because it's time to murder this bitch. And booming blade. Needed it for a 21.
21 will hit.
Okay. And the gladiator will take 18 points of radiant damage, followed by another 3 thunder, and if it moves, 9 more. That's his
Right.
turn.
So yeah, as you square off against the gladiator again, he tries to keep you at length with the spear. You sort of dart in along the spear, dodging sideways, avoiding the spear tip as you start to move, and he starts to position his shield. But you taking a moment to aim the strike, kind of dive in over the shield, slamming the sword down into like the collarbone and yanking it out before that the blood just sort of steams in the air, and he drops to his knees.
Yield.
Good.
All right. Cole.
Let's watch the gladiator fall to the ground and look over to the other ones and go, oh, no, ain't looking so good for the rest of you, eh? Yeah! And stab, just whoever's directly in front of me.
Sure, with advantage.
That is 22 to hit.
22 hits. Go ahead and roll.
That's 11 points of damage on the first attack. And, I'm going for another one. That's a 24 to hit.
24 hits.
And not so good. That's 8.
Yeah, he's looking real rough, but unfortunately, the berserker's just that rage. You can see the eyes now are just like bloodshot and white as he's just blindly swinging at you through the strikes. All right, so this one is going to attack. That's a 10. That's going to miss. And Durango.
Durango's going to level his lute, mandolin, towards that same berserker, the closest one. Launch into a riff and start firing off blasts. First one's a 20 to hit for 7 damage.
Yep. Which one was it?
The closest one there, the southernmost one.
Sure.
by Cole.
Yep. Yep.
Second attack.
And it slams into him. Sure.
It's 26 to
26
hit
hits.
for 9 damage.
Yeah. So the second one slams again, and this time he slips on. It pushes him back. You see the feet come out from underneath him. His head slams against the pavement, where this black marble tile with like a sickening thud, and just lays there.
And Durango hisses with satisfaction and starts taking aim for the next one. That's my turn.
All right, Casimir.
This is whenever we cold a cold, kind of cold, right? Just kidding. We're just gonna firebolt Let's go with the southernmost one. Has advantage because of the shit.
Mm-hmm.
Critical hit.
Nice.
Casimir out here doing nonsense. 17 points of fire damage from Casimir, who just runs back down.
Yeah, Casimir just staring at you, Ash, as he steps out. Doesn't even look at the berserker. Just fires that same firebolt, and you watch it just cascade through all the smoke and blood, and just slam into the berserker before he lights and ignites into flame, dropping to the floor. See, it's not difficult, Ash.
Oh.
And with that, it's your turn.
Natural one.
What color, like, cloak does Casimir have?
Let's go with like a dark, like bluish, purpley. Periwinkle.
Periwinkle? Perfect. As a
it's
bonus
on the way to
action.
Barovia this season, Perry.
Yeah.
As
Only
a bonus
amongst the
action,
elves, though.
right? As a bonus action, Ash is going to snap his finger, prestidigitation, a giant black spot on the front of his robes, Casimir's, and as he does so, fire 2 more arrows in grumpy silence.
I mean, prestidigitation is a cantrip, but I still think it's an action.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Afterward.
So just decide.
we're going to shoot arrows. He's got to think about it, and then he's just going to draw arrows. And we're going to be targeting this one right there for a 27. Don't I get advantage? I didn't roll it.
That one is dead, so you get sure. Which this one is the only alive one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever the live one.
Sure. Yes, an advantage.
6 damage, and I'll roll that attack again.
Honestly, 6 is all you needed. Yeah, is that arrow? You just plink one arrow in over Cole's shoulders. It slams into the guy straight in the middle of the forehead. He just kind of stares still, that rage and just grit, spit and blood just coming out of his teeth. Cole, as he just kind of slumps over in front of you.
Mash is gonna put the second arrow away. I could have been a wizard if I wanted to be a wizard. And is gonna go ahead and move up to this door, and that will be end of my turn for initiative. Are all these guys dead now?
They're all dead. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah. As the room goes quiet, a little rumble is a shake as the ceiling again from all the shatters and fireballs kind of quakes a little bit, and bits of rubble and dust fall. Everything goes still.
Sims is gonna start digging through the big one, through his stuff, see if there's any keys or anything important.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
23.
You don't find any keys or anything of that nature. Nothing. I guess to there you find several spears, some tattered cloth and leather armor, about probably 14 or 15 gold. Yeah, let's say 14 gold pieces worth of silver and other trinkets.
Okay.
Nothing. Yeah, they're very much those mountain folk that don't have too much wealth to their name. You've seen a few of them.
Yeah, I think I almost died to one. Sins is going to look over his shoulder at Ash, opening up the door and going, they came from this way.
Right. Which means they could also come from this way.
Right, but that doesn't mean that there... Wouldn't we go where we know that there aren't any? I'm confused.
I want to know if there's some in here.
Okay, sure.
You go have fun with Casimir over there.
I think he's a bit jealous, eh?
I'd say so. God, I'm not even this jealous.
So as you look through that doorway, Ash, the room for the most part is fairly featureless. Those doors were open a little ways. Relatively featureless except for a rough-edged, like 10-foot diameter circular hole in the floor to the east. Empty torch sconces along the walls. The double doors of amber are, again, we're open already. But the thing that draws your attention now is that hole in the middle of the floor has a sort of greenish tinge to it. And you watch as out of it, one and then another, these glowing green skulls just sort of lift out of the hole, turning in your direction. And as these lifeless, burning eyes sort of stare at you, these gaping maws just open wide in endless silent scream. That's where we're going to pick up next week. So thank you, everybody, for hanging in there tonight. Again, apologies for a couple of slowdowns. I'm a little under the weather, as I mentioned earlier, but I'm going to power through it. So thank you. And obviously Raiders, we had a nice big raid there from Live and Let's Die. Always glad to see you guys. Such a blast to have you guys in the chat. Couple things going on that are a little different this month for those of you that weren't here at the beginning. Obviously, we are doing a fundraiser for NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, all month long. That means everything the channel makes. That means everything we make from any of our partners. We're going to push over to NAMI in the form of donations. Now you guys can take part in that either through our normal dice giveaways, your standard support of the channel, everything you do there that we appreciate all the time, or you can go in and earn additional rewards through the link to the Tildify account where you can donate there. On top of that, we'll be running a very Chuck will be running a 3-day adventure. We're going to be doing 3 nights in a row. Phantoms of Flatforge, a Chuck crafted adventure here. And we are giving away a seat on that game. So one of you guys, if you're interested in playing on stream or you want to come hang out with us for the day, or 3 days, you'll be able to purchase a ticket to that. So it just depends on. Again, we'll have more information on that in the week, but yeah, you potentially win a seat there, as well as we've got a bunch of other giveaways and stuff from our partners this month. Should be pretty good, and we're going to raise a lot of money. We're going to do a lot of good stuff. So, huge shout out to our sponsors for all of our shows: Foundry, Forge. Thank you guys for everything you do. All right, shut up, Jason. Can we just give away dice already, right?
Yeah, that's basically it. Yep.
Pretty sure I saw that in the chat. Yeah.
Yep. So I think Ryan, I sent you the list.
I've got it loaded up. I'm going to spin the wheel right now. So this is for April's set of Dice Envy dice.
So pretty.
I'm sorry, it went right past you, Chuck. Ryan Rigamortis, congratulations. You are this month's winner of the Dice Envy dice. What were they? The Bifrost set. So we'll be sending those out to you shortly. We'll be contacting you to get your information.
Awesome, love to see it. This month is there from Dice Envy. It's the was it Mystic Sigil?
Yeah, I got them right here. Yeah. This is not what Ryan just won. This is this month.
This is the Nega version.
Yeah, the anti-Bifrost. There they are.
Perfect. So that's what we'll be giving away this month. Of course, if you guys want to pick them up yourselves, go ahead over to Dice Envy. Use /neg2. Use neg2 NEG2 at checkout. You get 10% off. And again, 10% of your purchase is going to be donated to NAMI on your behalf. So thank you for that if you decide to go buy some dice. Otherwise, we've got tomorrow night, Sinner's Dream.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday night, Plastic Cougar.
Yep.
And then
Back
we'll
on
see
track.
you guys next Sunday, right?
Dog!
Sorry.
We can't go anywhere yet. There's a dog.
Didn't mean to sidetrack us. Old boy's whining.
Can you roll a d20?
Can you roll a d20? He will roll a d20.
Figure out where we're raiding.
We got Paw Patrol rolling our d20 tonight. Got it. For a solid 7.
A solid 7.
Good job, dog.
All right, it looks like we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Little Bones 309. D&D Nights. We wear flowers, apparently. So
the dog would get us to the Little Bones channel, right?
Yeah.
Well played, you.
Nice job. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for hanging in there. We'll see you tomorrow night. Hopefully, maybe Thursday night. Definitely. Oh wait, do we get a game to give away?
That was my question.
Oh yeah.
That's what I mean. I'm sick.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, hold on a second.
Man, I'm glad I caught it, huh?
Uno momento, por favor.
It was like a mini golf game or something.
Give some dice away.
Not just
and then
mini golf, but
get outta here.
mini golf.
mini
saying.
golf. Mini
Well,
golf.
I
It's like the
gotta
small,
cancel the
smaller,
raid.
you know?
Forgot.
Give me one more second. I close out of
We are
everything.
professionals. We know what we're doing.
I haven't. No, don't even pretend. Don't even pretend to do that. Where am I? I'm so lost.
You guys excited for the Amber Temple? It's a good one.
I am
The
actually.
temple
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting.
It's like your first Strahd dungeon crawl here.
Yeah. I wasn't
Well, we
expecting
did the Death House. Does that count?
Yeah. Death House counts. Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah,
That was a
Amber
long
Temple
time
seems like a
ago.
cozy nook. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
No, never. Especially with multiple shatters inside of a stone room.
I mean, it was one shatter.
It was one shatter, multiple fireballs.
You're right.
All right.
I mean, I am kind of concerned. I blew all my fun spell stuff at the.
You know what? I'm on the fence of whether this counts or not, but I'm gonna go with it. Ben, you just won yourself some mini golf.
I love it.
Well, it's what I've always wanted.
We knew it. We knew it all along. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. And Ryan, give me to bed, please.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Carry me.